ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। प्रभुपाद की जय।
Bye.
की जय।
Bye. So we paused at this evil king, very, very evil, very, very narcissistic, very, very psychopath. This is like beyond just narcissism. And then we see that the Brahmins are trying, the last attempt at saving Vena. And Vena is just so foolish, so arrogant. And he just gets very upset. Vena's face darkened, his mouth twisting into a sneer. You are all fools. You confuse irreligion for religion. You're like unchaste women who abandon their husbands who maintain them to search for lovers. Okay, pause. So this is the mentality of typical like psychopaths, narcissists. And Snehavati Mataji, yesterday we were reading many things about Vena, and he many characteristics, many symptoms of narcissistic abuse was coming up. And what we see here now, he's twisting things. This is called gaslighting in technical terms. They make people feel bad about others. They'll be at fault, but then they will blame others and they will try to like gaslight, make people make situation worse by putting the blame on others like that. So Vena is like a typical example of like a really bad leader like that. Okay, who likes to continue reading from here? Please take over. The king is the supreme lord. You see, he's totally gaslighting and making everybody responsible.
I can read this. The king is the supreme lord. Those who out of ignorance fail to worship him will not experience happiness either in this life or the next. Who are these gods you so much adore? Indeed, your fondness for them is exactly like the affection of an unchaste woman who neglects her married life and gives all her attention to her paramour. Do you know do you not know that all the gods from whom you seek benedictions reside in the king's body? All of them, even Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Vayu, Yama, Surya, Bhumi, Agni, Varuna, and all others are merely parts and parcels of the king. The sages looked at one another. Did Vena not understand anything?
Okay.
Mataji, I have a question here. Like King Bena, he actually doesn't know, or he's just trying to manipulate the Brahmanas. He, whatever he's saying, he believes it, or he's trying to manipulate.
He's not dumb. He knows what exactly he's doing. He's doing bad. I mean, it's just like some leaders, right? They say, I'm only Indra, Chandra, Devendra, everything. Don't go to any other teachers and any other Shiksha gurus, any other mentors. You don't need anybody else. You only need me. I am your only way to ticket to Godhead, back to Godhead. I am your only way to Guru. I'm the only, no, like, right? It's not that
Yes, yes.
don't know what they're doing, right? They know exactly what they're doing. They're
But
manipulating, they're controlling, they know. It's just that it's a deep sense of character defect. So yesterday we studied this. Vena is not why he's like that, because his mother was the daughter of the personified death. Death personified's daughter begot with Anga was Vena. So he has those qualities, of this kind of qualities, basically, like completely. Yeah, I mean, Hiranyakashipu is slightly different in the category of identity because his intensity for Krishna was very intense, and like even Ravana and Hiranyakashipu, they had Hiranyakashipu didn't, right? Yeah. Ravana had his own very strict sadhana and everything. He worshipped Lord Shiva, and even this Shiva Tandava, even Ravana composed, and Hiranyakashipu worshipped. Of course, he worshipped Brahma to take over Brahma's position. He didn't worship because of respect, but still, Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, after all, they are Jaya and Vijaya, right? So they have that somehow that intense attachment to the Lord in the averted way, in the hatred way. So Hiranyakashipu is also like, hey, me, I am the only supreme, nobody else, right? He did, but he was more religious in the sense he did some sort of austerities and he did some sort of religious practices, like that. But Vena is like totally lost case. And because Vena is not as powerful as Hiranyakashipu, because it's not like he has a benediction like Brahma gave Hiranyakashipu the benediction. Vena doesn't have that kind of benediction. Very easily, these sages are going to kill him now. Very easily. So he's not so powerful. Same
But
thing.
is he not understanding that if he does like that to the Brahmanas, they can, punish him? Because the Brahmanas are superior to him, right?
He
Or he
doesn't care.
completely lost?
He doesn't care, and he's just thinking they're not going to do it. See,
Oh,
see this, see this point he's saying, right? Hey, Supreme Lord, only I am. Hey, I have Vishnu, Brahma, everybody is in me. Don't you know? That's it's total like it's not dumbness. It's just that he knows certain things. He knows the Vedic, he studied. It's not that Anga made him uneducated, right? He got his education, so to speak. He knows the Vedas, he knows king is great and this and that. He's using everything against. Same like sometimes leaders are using, right? They may not be so powerful. They may be filled with total insecurity. And
so
then they
can we say
will.
it like knowledge in the mode of ignorance? Like he's using the knowledge, but it's going to be in the mode of ignorance, right?
Yeah, more than ignorance, it's
Ah.
demoniac, evil, it's totally
Yeah.
degrading, like that. Ignorance also, but this is beyond ignorance. Like
Mm.
yesterday, we studied what all he's saying, and now he's totally gaslighting and making things worse by using a point which is true. It's true that king's body is supposed to be worshipped, right? It's true, but but what extent, what limit, what boundary? He's not respecting any boundaries. He's forgetting that sages are also great and they also should be worshipped.
Right. And another question, like when we say that his mother was just a daughter of that personified, are we talking about Yamraja or no?
Yeah, Yamaraja's daughter, Vena's wife was Yamaraj's daughter.
But Yamraj is also like Krishna's devotee, right? So how come like his what is it called, offsprings or the next generations are coming like demons?
No, that personified is not Yamaraj, is like a Amsha of Yamaraj. So death is what? Death is all about like that kind of ignorance, that kind of carelessness about what you do, how you live. There is no like meaning and purpose, right? Death is like end of everything. So literally, Vena is inviting death. You can see here, right? He's inviting death because because being the grandson of death, he couldn't care less. Death doesn't care, right? He doesn't care. He doesn't care about anybody, anything, but in a very careless, evil way, very evil way. And so much. Imagine Anga Maharaj left the whole kingdom because of his behavior. That much, like completely out of control. But being grandchild of death has two sides, and everything has two sides to the same coin. Okay, so one side of the coin, he had some mystic powers. He can become small, he can become big, or some things he had. But then he also had that negative side of death. Why everybody's scared, is afraid of death? Who wants death? Who will say, come, let death come? Nobody. Everybody's scared of death. And when Vena became the king, the thieves and rogues all became very scared. because they thought, oh my God, he's going to torture us cruelly. So all the thieves also became very scared. So death has everything has two sides. Somebody may be a nice devotee, right? Nice scholar or something. They may have known their Guru Maharajas or something for some time, Prabhupada or something for some time, and etc. But there may be one side of the good side of their coin. But then there's the bad side of the coin. They may be very insecure. They may be very controlling. They want that they think that people belong to them. There was one person, he shocked. My husband got shocked when that person said, these are all my people, and I had to decide what to do with them. And and my husband was shocked, like sages are saying here, did he not understand anything? So like, how can this person say these are all my people, they all belong to me, I can decide what to do with their lives and this and that. Come on, you don't understand Krishna consciousness. You are a servant leader, you're not a master, you're not a king. You're just a servant taking care of these people's Krishna consciousness. How can we think that they belong to me? There's this Indian mentality here about hierarchy. People think that whoever comes to Krishna consciousness belongs to them, right? Very dangerous mentality. Now you're asking, do they know or do they not know? They do knowingly, they don't care. That's what makes people evil, because they know that sages will not just kill a king. They know that sages will respect the king. He knows certain things, but he's not Paramatma or something. He doesn't know past, present, future. He only knows limited. Is that help?
Yes, yes. Like basically these kind of people, they think like since the other person will, is going to
Yeah.
respect their dharma, they will tolerate the noise. So I can take advantage.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
they don't understand there is a limit how much other person will tolerate, especially when you
No.
break the boundaries.
Yeah, they lose the sense of, they do one atrocity and then the other and then the other, and then they see that they are quiet, the others are quiet, right? Like Duryodhan with Kaurava, sorry, with Pandavas, similar, right? Came to the point of, okay, do this and try to kill Bhima and to try to burn them down in the lac house, and then call them to play the dice game and trick and cheat and do whatnot, right? He tried to do everything against the Pandavas just because he didn't want to give even एक फूडी, what is it? What is it? Drop of the needle. He didn't want to.
Yes.
He didn't want to give enough space to drop a needle in it, a pin of a needle. So that's Duryodhana. Also similar. People were scared of Duryodhana in the kingdom. He was a good king. He was a good king, but he was just a bad individual. Good king means he would protect his people or whatever, but then to what extent is that goodness helpful if character faults, character defect overtakes them? I mean, even Krishna had to deal with Duryodhana, and he gave him chances after chances. Can you imagine Duryodhana trying to bind Krishna, capturing Krishna and tying him with ropes and chains? Can you imagine the foolishness? Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, after having seen how Pandavas are again and again protected, still he tried to do that. So, what kind of idiocy, So this people are like that. Everybody, what yesterday Rajeshwari Radhika Mataji was saying, how Vinash Kale Viparita Buddhi. So this is what is happening with Vena and Hiranyakashipu. Vinash Kale Viparit Buddhi. The end is coming near and they're losing it more and more and more. Look at how Hiranyakashipu treats Prahlad, his own son, just because that ego was hurt. So these are the people. They're not normal, okay? They're not normal. These are sick, spiritually sick individuals. Yeah. Okay. Did Vena not understand anything? Somebody likes to continue reading. Somebody else. Thank you, Snehavati Mataji.
Okay. The ruler, as Vishnu's authorized Authorized representative should encourage his worship, not usurp it. Vena, his head held high, pointed at the sages. Give up your envy of me, worship me by your rituals, offer me everything. If you were actually intelligent, you should know that no one is superior to me, and that I alone am worthy of accepting the first oblation of all sacrifices. The Brahmins quietly conferred. This king has lost all intelligence due to his sinful life and deviation from the right path. He is truly bereft of all good fortune. Even though we spoke to him with great respect, still he has remained deaf to our plea. Indeed, he is condemned.
See, they're reaching at that point. Slowly, he lost all intelligence. Why? Due to his sinful life. So sins make us commit more sins. That's the thing. Okay, please continue.
Vena stood up and shouted, Repent your sin, you fool, lest I have you all killed. The sages sighed. They had hoped for a better outcome. The oldest said to the oldest, We must kill him. He is the most dreadful, sinful person. If he lives, he will certainly turn the whole world into ashes in no time. Another sage added, This impious, impudent man does not in the least deserve to sit on the throne. He is so shameless that he even dares insult Lord Vishnu. Still another expressed his disbelief. I cannot imagine anyone being as sinful as Vena. How does he dare blaspheme Vishnu by worship? Actually, I am on with my mobile now, and the comments is coming, so it's coming on my screen. Another expressed his disbelief. I cannot imagine anyone being as sinful as Vena. How does he dare blaspheme Vishnu, by whose mercy he enjoys great wealth and power? As they spoke, their anger mounted. We must kill him immediately. Yes, there is no sin in killing sinful Vena, for due to his blasphemies against Vishnu, he is as good as dead. In a body, they faced Vena and angrily uttered hum. As the powerful sound reverberated, Vena clutched his chest. His face a mask of agony, he collapsed to the floor, gasping, and gave up his life. The guards and ministers ran to his limp body. A great shout of the king is dead vibrated throughout the hell. Maid servants ran to tell the queen mother. Amidst the havoc, the sage quietly left and returned to their respective hermitage. Sunita ran in, her hair disheveled, wailing loudly, Vena, my son.
Okay. Pause. This point here that Brahmanas are very powerful. So if somebody doesn't recognize strength is not just Kshatriya strength of using weapons or punishing people or making rules or breaking rules, or that's only the one form of strength. But the actual strength is the Brahminical strength, with which through the mantras they could kill somebody, to bring somebody back to life. And that's why the Brahmanas doesn't he understand anything? Right? Brahmanas are actually the mouth of Krishna, right? So he doesn't even understand that as a king is only a representative, doesn't become God. And then he doesn't understand that the sages possess so much power. Sometimes we get maddened, right? This is madness. Sometimes we get maddened by the little power we have, that we think that we are so powerful and we can control things, and then we forget the actual Brahminical power. So that's what happened in case of Vena. He forgot that Brahmanas can also become angry. They tolerated, right? But then at one point, Krishna will have to make the shift happen, right? When he told the demigods also with Hiranyakashipu's pastime, he told the demigods, don't worry, Hiranyakashipu is as good as dead because he will do so much bad to his own little son Prahlad, who's great devotee. That time I will come and kill him. So um, the end, mm, the end comes because of slow ignorance. Slowly, it's like a poison that kills our intelligence. Then we arrive at a point of losing it, completely losing it. And now Vena lost it and he's finished. Just one mantra. One mantra.
आपका घड़ा भर गया.
बस हाँ भाप का घड़ा भर गया. Exactly. That also sometimes has to happen. With Duryodhana, Hiranyakashipu, everybody is waiting when their end will come. I mean, that's why they make movies, right? In Mahabharata, Ramayana, we when we see, that we're all waiting when Duryodhana will get punished, and there is a sense of great satisfaction, right? When Duryodhana is getting beaten up by Bhima, or when we see Rama finally hitting Ravana with that arrow. See the feeling when we feel like, finally, because they have just crossed all boundaries.
Fine, tomorrow is Vijayadashmi.
Yeah, by the way. Gosh. Rasastali Mataji, would you like to read a little bit?
Okay. She fell down and embraced his lifeless body. The ministers gently persuaded her to let go. As her maidservants led her away, she turned to the court Brahmin. Do not cremate him. We must preserve his body. I know how this can be done with herbs and mantras. The Brahmins reassured the grieving queen that they would comply with her wish. Some time later, the same sages who had killed Vena, after completing their daily duties of offering oblations into the sacrificial fire, were seated by the river Saraswati discussing Krishna's transcendental pastime. As they spoke, several merchants burst through the woods with their families. Seeing the sages, they hurried in their direction. The sages welcomed them, offering them roots and berries. The travelers thankfully accepted their hospitality. As they ate, they kept glancing behind to see if anyone was coming. Who are you running from? The sages asked. The men explained that after King Vena's death, criminal bands had become increasingly bold. They break into people's homes, kidnap women, kill men, and steal land and belongings. The men said they were among many refugees who were fleeing their murders. Often they pursued survivors for the few possessions they had managed to take with them. Just then a great dust storm swept over the area. The merchants panicked. This must be them. They chase their victims relentlessly. Surely they will kill us if they find us. Run for your life. The terrified citizens ran towards nearby cave. The sages looked at each other in alarm. One said, King Vena's death has left the kingdom without a protector. Now there is not even a semblance of law and order. Indeed, it seems there is an uprising of murderous plunderers. A younger sage said, We killed Vena. Now we must kill these rogues. Several others shook their heads. One said, We could, but where will it stop? It is improper for sages to do the king's work. They all agreed. They should not directly intervene. A senior sage said, Still we must do something. Although the Brahmins we should As Brahmins, we should be peaceful and impartial. We should not neglect others' suffering. By doing so, our spiritual powers will diminish, just as water kept in cracked pot leaks out. Finally, the sages decided their best course of action was to revive King Anga's dynasty. After all, with the exception of Vena, the kings in this line had been powerful devotees of Vishnu. They returned to the capital and, after consulting with Sunita, employed a mystical method of producing a child from Vena's corpse. Taking hold of his legs, they churned his thighs with great force while intoning sacred mantras. After some time, a dwarf was born from Vena's corpse. He had a blackish complexion like a crow. His limbs were short and his jaw large. He had a flat nose, reddish eyes, and copper-colored hair. As soon as he was born, he bowed meekly to the sages. Sirs, what shall I do? The sages said to one voice.
We can pause here for today and we will study more about Prith Maharaj and his qualities tomorrow. Because one huge contrast. Look at how Vena was, and from the same body of Vena, now this amazing personality is coming out, and as soon as he was born, he's meekly bowing to the sages. Wow, what a contrast from Vena's body. How did this happen? So tomorrow we'll continue this. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah,
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
yeah.
Okay, let's see. There's some questions or comments. Why his mother told Brahman to preserve his body? I am not sure. I was also thinking whether she knew that something like this could happen or she just did it out of feminine intuitive instinct. Sometimes women have this intuitive instinct that we feel a sense of, oh, he's the king, there's no higher, let's keep his body. I don't know. Or I don't know if it was a complete attachment to the body type of thing that, oh, Vena is dead, but keep, like modern day, they freeze the body, right? Frozen bodies. One day, maybe we will resurrect. No, that's modern day, but I don't know if she was thinking of resurrection. Maybe it was just, hey, let's preserve the body. She had this knowledge of herbs and everything. But ultimately, my answer would be Krishna. Krishna inspired her to keep the body intact for further purposes.
And we do not hear anything about Vena's married life or children, right? If I'm not mistaken. Like he got married or he had children, nothing we heard, right?
Vena was like a total, and she really like a woman hunter, he had many women. I don't think he was like a good grihastha example.
Right. Okay.
Okay.